What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into the Bear With Us podcast. I am Frank. Joined with me is Nas. We have a bit of a doozy today because some Caleb Williams news, maybe not news, but pretty good speculation dropped from a good source. Before we get there, Nas, how are we feeling, man? How was the weekend?
Weekend was good. It was relaxed. It was a little weird with no football on Sunday. I gotta say, Pro Bowl just doesn't do it for me. Fuck Colin Cowherd, and yeah, that's kind of all I got.
I feel like that'll come up probably in the conversation because I mean he's him, not in a good way. He's just himself, and you know he's gonna always cause stirs and things. It's just sort of what he's paid to do. That did remind me though, Nas, how some of the things I do enjoy with the All-Star or the Pro Bowl stuff. Was this new, this long snapper thing, or did they do that last year too? Did you see that mini game?
I saw that mini game. It was the first time I had seen it.
I think it was new to this year, and it's okay. This may be like old man get off my lawn, but like that to me isn't. If I had a long snapper who was able to like hit those targets consistently, I don't think he's a very good long snapper. Like you should be trained. Like there was one dude who got 0. And it's because like he just had such muscle memory to put in the same spot every time for a punter. Right. And I was like, give that man a fucking extension. He's doing great out here.
Oh yeah.
They were. The flag football is okay too, though. I mean, it sort of is what it is. It's no one really takes it serious.
Yeah, you could tell. I mean, Patrick Manley probably saw that long snapping game. Was just like, fuck, this is like so my calling right here.
I know. Pat Manley, I mean, how long was he with us for? Like 15 years? I mean, it was forever.
Yeah. It was like a decade and a half, easily.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. All right, Nas, we got some fucking important business to tend to. Would you cut it out with the Pro Bowl stuff? Listen, the breadcrumbs keep on showing up. You know, it started, I feel like, at lower levels. There were some people at some low, I don't want to say lower, that's disrespectful, but just at the local level of guys at the Senior Bowl, you know, in that preparation, talking to people, and it was pretty unanimous that other GMs, other scouts were like, the Bears aren't trading that pick. It's not happening. They're taking Caleb to a point where I forgot who it was. I need to get better at jotting things down to give people credit, but I'm not taking the credit. Please don't, think I'm stealing anyone's content here. But someone said like they're already making calls to Washington to see if they can trade up for either Jaden Daniels or Drake May. Because they're that dead set that Chicago, like, it's not even worth exploring. Like, it may be like, hey, Ryan, how are you feeling? No, cool. All right, had to check before we, go to number 2. But with all that, Nas, we're starting to get more official stuff. Adam Schefter today dropped some bombshells, and it may have even said what radio station or whatever he was on. But essentially what he said was two things. One related to Fields and a couple things related to Caleb Williams. We can get into Caleb stuff first. That he believes, and this is an educated belief. Like that's the one thing I should have said in the beginning is like these big national reporters aren't speculating. They're hearing things. They're hearing things from people and, they have sources. He believes that Chicago is going to stay there and take Caleb Williams. And then someone asked him, someone asked him what would it take for the Bears even to just move back one spot to take number 2 from Washington. He said at least the conversation didn't even start unless they're bringing up 2 first-round picks, which is steep for one, for only dropping down once. Nas, how are you feeling about that news? Is it about what you thought Ryan Poles would be at this point?
Yeah, I feel relieved that someone with at that like whatever you think of Schefter, his stature in the league is something. So for him to feel comfortable enough to make those statements like that, it was on ESPN 1000 on the Waddle and Sylvie show. I mean, it's comforting because this is what I've been wanting since we have been talking football over the last few months. So from my perspective, I feel great about it. This is just music to my ears. Let's trade Justin, maybe accordingly, get some draft capital, and then really put this team into high gear around Caleb. What do you think?
I agree. I'm dead set on the Bears moving on from Justin, meaning like I just think that's what's going to happen. I still love the guy, and I'm even on record like if Poles can get like fucking 5 first, there is hypothetically an offer out there that Poles couldn't say no to. Hypothetically speaking, I don't think a franchise would pay it, but there is it, right? I mean, it'd be astronomical.
This thought came in my brain about Adam Peters. He's a new GM for this franchise that has been riddled with ineptitude and a terrible owner. He could literally this did cross, like, this is real. He could think about trading like 3 to 4 first rounders or 3 first rounders and 2 second rounders for Caleb. And if he he guessed right, and Caleb was his quarterback for the next 15 years, he has just solidified his job security for like the next 7 years. So it is kind of worth the gamble if you're convinced Caleb is the guy to throw an offer like that out there. So, I mean, though I feel pretty confident the Bears are going to stick with this, like, life of a GM, like, the stability of it, it makes sense for Adam Peters to maybe think of something like that if he's convinced Caleb is that much better than the other prospects, which I think everybody agrees he is.
No, totally agreed. And the point that I was making is that in that scenario, what you're talking about, where this new GM is like, hey, I'm throwing the fucking kitchen sink, 3 firsts, 3 seconds, maybe a fucking third, I don't know, and then like 2 starters. Again, hypothetically, there's an offer there that I wouldn't be met because I'm not out on Justin because I think he's been bad enough to just get rid of him for anyone. I think you could build still something around him. I don't know if the ceiling would be what Caleb's is, but you could say we see look at Brock Purdy. I'm not saying he's the same type of quarterback. I'm just saying you can get on with a lesser quarterback if you build the whole team. We've seen it happen, is what it is. But I'm relieved, Nas, because it's pretty accepted that the Bears are dead set on the best prospect in this draft. Well, best quarterback, because I mean, you maybe might argue that Marvin Harrison, just as a pure prospect, is I'm not here to debate that. Because how Chicago would it be? All this chatter comes along and going pick. The Bears select fucking Drake May or to JJ McCarthy. Like, it would just be so Bears to have an opportunity to change the outlook of your franchise for 15 years and pick the wrong guy.
It would be very Bears. Today I saw a mock where JJ McCarthy got moved up to like 12th.
That's so insane.
Isn't that fucking crazy? So, like, I mean, I guess you're right. Like, I'm never really going to feel amazing until I see Caleb put the Bears hat on the stage.
Right.
Like, I just polls, and we were texting about this dude last 12 months plus, iconic run as a Bears GM, truly. And I just feel like he's not going to screw this up. He knows exactly what the play is. I feel like he has played his cards and put stuff in the media exactly the way you want it, where you're not really sure what he's thinking. And I think he's not going to screw, like, he's looking at the tape. He sees what we all see. This dude is generational type talent. He's not going to, I can't believe I'm saying this because the state of Chicago franchises is not very good right now. I feel amazing. I feel great. I feel like we're not going to screw this up. I feel like we got our QB. Let's go.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. So that's the part where my mind is eased, because we're going to leave this scenario either with the guy who I do think has a chance to be generational, has a top 5 ceiling, or we're just running away with like 2 full drafts of another team, and we just have all these pieces to load out. Like, either way, I'm okay. So I feel like even the lesser of that, which would be to trade the pick and get this crazy haul, is still like an insane second option. Like, we're in a good space here. But again, I'm with you. I don't think we're passing on Caleb. I think Caleb's going to be the quarterback of the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of precedent in the NBA, there's a lot of precedent for stuff like this.
Yep.
And when you trade for the star, it usually works out. I will say the precedent for the NFL, the RG3 trade and the Mitchell trade, the teams that traded for the QB, it actually ended up not working out. So I think that's also going to make teams shy away. Recent history has shown you that this is not a recipe for long-term success, because at the end of the day, it still is a gamble. And to give up that draft equity with a guy you are not 100% sure on is not the way to go based on recent history.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Nas, the other part of that news was Schefter believes that the Bears could possibly get a first for Justin Fields. And the one thing that I've always said, I think we can get maybe a couple of seconds or a second and a third for sure. Again, Trey Lance went for a fucking fourth on a team he's never going to start for. Unless Dak gets hurt, he's not starting for the Dallas Cowboys. So, like, the price of quarterbacks is always on the up and up. It's just, it is what it is. Shout to Stringer Bell. But it got me thinking, we've heard 1.8 from Atlanta. I don't think, that's too rich. I don't think they would do that.
Nope.
But again, I don't think unless they trade up, I don't think they're going quarterback there. I mean, because Drake May's going to be gone. Jaden Daniels will probably be gone. I mean, you're going to go like 1.8 on McCarthy or Bo Nix or Penix, the guys you could probably have later in the draft. So I think Justin's better than those guys. But again, I don't know if it's worth 1.8. But it got me thinking, because to me it would be a later first if you're going to get a first. Who's later in the draft that would just be like, okay, we do need a core. I mean, like, what if Baker leaves Tampa? 26th pick in the draft. I don't think that's crazy.
Yep.
Pittsburgh.
I mean,
to the 20th pick. Maybe. Hey, listen, another one. Maybe it wouldn't be the first for them, but I think a sneaky destination. Stafford's getting old, but he probably got another year or two. You let Justin sit, pick up his 5th-year option. So you know what I mean? Like I feel like there's an avenue for the Bears to get a nice little return for Justin.
I do think they're going to get a nice return. I am feeling very skeptical. I feel like that was the one part of the Schefter interview where I was like, a first? That feels a little steep. When you look at availability of teams that you think need a quarterback and what they've done historically with their franchises, there's not enough to build a first-round market for Justin. I don't see it happening. I did listen to Michael Lombardi last week, and he said he literally said this week the Justin trade stock was going to start. We were going to see it in the media get blown up a little bit.
Oh, interesting.
He literally said that last week on his podcast. So, and then all of a sudden, Shefty's like, I was thinking there was no way someone was going to, because I looked at we discussed this with Jack like probably a month ago, and I looked at the draft order, or what was like the projected draft order at the time, and I was like, I don't know. Historically, none of these franchises would do this. Justin, even though he's ultra talented, at the end of the day, has not played that well.
Right.
Okay, like he's had stretches, but first round worthy stretches, a starter's worth stretches, I don't know about that. So it feels like someone is playing behind the closed door, behind the curtain, and fucking with the market a little bit. I think it ends up settling with like a 2nd and a 5th, something like that. Because it's not like Justin doesn't have a good amount of value. He definitely does. Yep. I think a first rounder based on the draft order and those franchises looking for a quarterback, or maybe failing to face the reality that they need one. It just doesn't look likely. If it happens, I would be stoked. Oh, buddy, would I be stoked?
Yeah,
let's pack.
I agree.
Let's go get Marv now.
Well,
LFG.
That's the one. It's so funny that you brought that up in text, because that has become my prediction. If maybe he's not exactly first round value, like fringe. If there was like a 34th pick in the draft, I think someone, you know what I mean? Like that was a first, there were 34th. I think you'd probably, a quarterback needy team would do that. I have this feeling Poles hasn't traded up. Well, he's traded up once. I forgot, was that for Tyler Scott? But he hasn't nearly traded up as much as Ryan Pace did. But he's never been in the position that he's been in now, which is not only can I get the guy that I think is going to change the franchise at quarterback. Now we don't have that many holes on this roster. You use that 9th pick. You use Justin Fields. Because again, I've seen a lot of projections for New England getting Jaden Daniels. I don't like. Why would you not want to swap picks and then maybe they add a third or what. I don't know. You figure out the rest of the compensation. Justin Fields is a better player than Jaden Daniels. He was a better prospect than him. I think he's a better thrower than him. Jaden Daniels is an awesome runner. Justin's a better fucking runner than him. Like, at this point, I don't see anything that Jaden Daniels does better than Justin, either coming out of college or just right now in the moment. I think that's happening, dude. I think the Bears are going to trade up to either throw who is for the Cardinals. They probably won't go to 4 with the Cardinals. I could see them trading up with New England and Justin goes there.
The Cardinals, yep.
Yeah, they wouldn't do that with Justin as the trade piece, just because they don't need. I mean, Kyler. Why would you move on from Kyler for Justin?
Well, the contract of Kyler is just—it's absurd. That's like true just too. Kicked in this year.
But then at that point, who where is he going to go?
I think Jonathan Gannon took that job with the intent that Kyler's staying in Arizona.
Right.
Like, I'm going to work with this. We are going to build the culture the right way. He's going to fall in line, that sort of thing. I mean, yeah, I could go down. I could talk a lot about the Kyler situation and how it's been an absolute shit show over there. But I will not. I will refrain. But
we got the offseason for it.
Yeah. I'll shit on him then. I honestly, I think Falcons they would have the 40th pick. I think 40 and 72 for Justin. It feels kind of nice.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, or I mean, I would even settle for 40 and 94, to be honest. Like, if it came down to that, like a second and a fourth.
Like, that's where I think
real talent level coming through those rounds. So
no, I totally agree. Especially with some of the edge rushers that are being projected to go in the second. Yeah, I mean, Poles. There's no way around it for me. He's either going to trade up from 9, using Justin as a piece, or he's going to trade Justin or trade back from 9 into probably like Pittsburgh range to recoup a second round pick. Like, one of those things is going to happen. Honestly, you might be able to do both, dude. You might be able to trade up from 9 to 3, somehow convince New England that they don't need. Because I don't know. Is Jaden Daniels a good fit for what I want Jaden to go somewhere we can maybe sit for a little. I know he's a little older, but
I know, but like the weird thing going for Jaden is the Joe Burrow story.
Oh, I didn't hear this.
It was a similar scenario where they're both their first year in LSU. You kind of didn't see it until it hit their senior year where they kind of took off.
Right.
And I think that Joe Burrow narrative has kind of like clicked into the Jaden Daniels narrative. Like, people are like, well, see how much he got better from his first to second year while he was there. And the thing is, teams are suckers for athletic quarterbacks like Jaden Daniels. Like,
I mean, we saw it with Anthony Richardson.
Literally, and I mean, Anthony couldn't stay on the field, but I mean, when he was on the field, you saw the flashes and you saw the allure. And the same way we see it with Justin.
Yep, like, absolutely.
So seeing the Patriots take him would be, I feel like they're I think it's clear Mac Jones is not the guy. Like,
right.
I don't know. I don't know trading back for them. I don't know if they're going to get an offer that's truly worth it. So I think he's going to be a Patriot. He
could be. You don't think in the scenario that Justin is the trade piece to move up, gets them going a little?
I don't see it.
Fair.
I don't see it. I love Justin, but he can't be what slingshots us up to the 3 pick. He's not that valuable.
Yeah, I mean, you could be right. I'm thinking of, I'm isolating the Patriots because you're not trading up to 2. Washington's taking Drake May, or if they like Jaden Daniels better, it's which that could be.
I honestly, because I've seen conflicting reports. I think they're gonna take Jaden.
Oh, well then the Patriots are, for obvious reasons, they wouldn't pass up on Drake May.
100%. And I think the Commanders are. I think that's the Kingsbury hire, I think, is conducive to how Jaden plays. Like, I think that offense, the creativity that Jaden provides, I could see Drake May falling. I'm just not that impressed with that guy,
I
too.
haven't been.
I'm sorry.
I haven't
Like,
been either.
I watch it and I'm just like, all right. People are giving him the Herbert comp. I think that is such an insult to Herbert.
I
It's
agree.
fucking absurd. Like, nah, Herbert's twice the athlete of this dude. Truth. Herbert doesn't run because he just chooses not to. He could do a lot of this dual threat shit we see all the time. Like,
Yeah.
And I would take him over Drake May. I would have taken him over Drake May then. I'd take him over Drake May now.
Oh yeah.
100%.
100. No, and then that, I mean, again, we've had this conversation too. Like, I'm so much more impressed with Caleb Williams and everything I've seen from him than any of these other dudes. That like, if he didn't exist, I would like it wouldn't be I would be pounding the table to trade back and keep Justin. Like, again, it's not because I'm totally sold on Justin. I just think it would be worth giving him 2 more years versus what else is out there. Like, why would you just change and like? I'm not going to move on unless it's a sure thing. And I think Caleb is that. None of these other dudes are. And it's not to say that I think Drake May is a level or at least a half level above the Penixes and the JJ McCarthy's and those dudes, but he's not Caleb Williams. And to your point, I've already, just from the film that I haven't taken a deep dive on Jaden or Drake just yet. I've done some dabbling. I like what I've seen from Jaden Daniels more than I have from Drake May.
Yeah, I'm saying, man. And yeah, and it's nice to see a guy who can get that much better in a year.
Yeah.
Like, seeing how coachable someone is has to go into the process on some level. So yeah, no, I've been really impressed with Jaden Daniels. I like when the Patriots are good because I like that they're a team that we can hate. So like, I would prefer he goes there to kind of like build them back up as the team that I enjoy hating. And
yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's. I'm curious to see just how the culture shift or what's going to happen with Gerard Mayo at head coach. I wonder how much of the Belichick philosophy does he adopt? How much does he sort of do his own thing? It's going to be interesting because it's a real possibility they just stink for a while until they find their quarterback. Because that's generally just what I like. I know people are upset, Bears fans, that we've never had a franchise guy. That's the case for a lot of people, man. Like, it just is what it is. The Patriots had that much success because Bill and Tom were just those dudes. And until we find our dudes, because even when you have a dude, Drew Brees won 1, Peyton won 2, and he wasn't the reason at all for winning the second one. Like, it just breaks down that way, man. Like, Russell Wilson was that dude for a little while, and he got 1. Like, sometimes you only get 1 even when you have that dude. Like, Aaron Rodgers had 1.
The Packers, I mean, they've had 2 QBs over a 30-year stretch, and they have 2 Super Bowls total.
Yep.
And 3 appearances total. And it's like, it's not a guarantee. I mean, I do like staying relevant and always feeling like my team's in it. I think that's more of the feeling that franchises that have dealt what we've dealt with kind of just want. Like, I just want to be in the thick of it. And I don't want to like go into the last game of the season against the Packers and just know, well, if that guy goes off, we're fucked. Like, because we don't have the guy who can go toe to toe with him. You know, like, that feeling's shitty. And I think that's where my mental space is.
No, I totally agree with you. And that's what I tell Packers fans. Like, I have friends that are Packers fans. Like, look, y'all, like, I'm always going to give you shit when you lose in the playoffs because that's my Super Bowl at the end of the day. But y'all don't know how good you have it. I get it's frustrating losing in these championship games and like being that close, but like, you guys have hope every year. You guys can, like, even if you don't necessarily believe that you can get over the hump against San Fran, or you can make yourself believe. Like, look at what Jordan Love did for that franchise over the last 6 weeks of the season. He went from people were ready to move on from the guy to be like, man, maybe he does have a little something. Look, 18-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Like, we don't even have that. Like, when we have those years, it's like, yeah, fucking our defense is elite again. Fuck yes. Like, it's boring, man. At least you guys have fun.
It's not sustainable.
No, it's not
sustainable, man.
No.
Like, ugh.
So, you know what, Nas? The other thing, we won't touch on it today because I wanted to be much more prepared. That's what it was. And just my week was a little crazy. I want to talk about the coaching hires in general. I think it's a good topic for next week because all the dust will be settled. There's some big names who did not get head coaching jobs, and it looks like Eric B isn't even going to get a coordinator job somewhere. So this is
crazy, man.
I know. This has been a fucking weird hiring cycle. We'll, again, see where the chips fall. But we'll get to that next week. Nas, let's talk Super Bowl. And I'll go first because I really don't have like an analytical approach here. Where my mind's at with just the game is I think San Fran has the top to bottom better offense. I think the defense, I don't know, San Fran's been a little up and down, but defense is probably a wash. I like Spags better as a coordinator. So where I'm at with it, dude, is Purdy's just got to prove to me that he can beat Pat. I'm not betting against Pat in this game or in any game. You know what I mean? Like, that's just
not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so like normally I would like break it down and like, yeah, I like this trench player, and if he can dominate the inside, it's like, but Pat's the equalizer, man. I'm not going to waste my time looking into analytics and the different approaches and schemes, and Pat's that dude.
I don't know how you can bet against Pat. The thing is, it feels pretty even, except for in two areas. You mentioned one, D coordinator edge, I would give to Kansas City. And the Niner defense has not looked good throughout the playoffs.
No.
So let's make that clear. The Chiefs secondary has looked dominant. They've given up one chunk play the entire time. And then it comes down to Purdy and Mahomes, which I think everybody would know who the edge goes for that. So It's like, okay. And like Andy and Kyle, like, I guess historically you would say Andy Reid gets the edge there, but he's been known to do some questionable things with the ball. And time management, not his friend. Kyle Shanahan, the modern genius of this era of football, also time management issues. Like, I would almost kind of call it a wash between the two of them. Spags, Mahomes, just feels like enough. Like, I don't think you need to dig deeper than that.
I know.
Yeah, all the playmakers are on San Fran, and they got Brock Purdy delivering the ball to those guys, and the other teams got Patrick Mahomes delivering the ball to their playmakers.
Yeah.
Which, when we get to props, I'm going to bet a certain way with the way that these defenses have been playing.
Interesting. I'm excited. Before we get there, though, Nas, the one thing that I will say about the game from a strategic standpoint, and you tell me if I'm crazy. If I am Kansas City, if I'm San Francisco, I'm running a heavy man defense. Because where I'm at with it is if we lose the game, I don't know, say like 24-21, but Travis Kelce has 2 catches for 30 yards and like miraculously, Marquez Valdez-Scantling goes off for $150, or Kadarius Toney is not hurt anymore and not angry, and he has some chunk plays and wins the game. I can live with that. I can't live with Travis Kelce going for 11 catches, 250 yards, a few touchdowns. Like, I'm doing everything I can to take him out of the game, and he's just, even though he's lost a little bit of a step, he's just still so good at diagnosing where zones are going to be, where the soft spot in the defense is going to be. Even like hot routing, him and Pat are just like, what is that called when you can speak to each other through the brain? Like, they have telepathy. They're like they have telepathy, and I think the only way to take him completely out is to double him with a safety over the top and just run man heavy and probably throw some stunts and blitzes when you can. Like, you just make the outside guys beat you. There's no way I'm letting Travis Kelce beat me.
The last 2 game plans for the Bills and the Ravens were probably very similar.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Kyle Hamilton play against the Ravens.
He's fucking insane.
I mean, he's fucking insane, but Pat just put it in like the perfect spot. He's draped all over Kels. It's a beautiful back shoulder. Like, there's only so much what you can do in man. I think Andy's probably got a similar mindset. Like, okay, the way Travis has played the last 2 games, he is going to be the focus of the defense. I think the game plan from the Chiefs is pretty simple. You're going to dink and dunk your way down the field and run the hell out of the ball. And then you're going to hopefully dial up certain plays when you get certain looks to free Kelce up, or maybe get MVS down the field, and hope that that's enough, and just out game plan them. And then the Niners, I think, will adjust. So I think you try to catch them off guard for a certain amount of time, and when the adjustments is made, maybe you have enough of a lead to preserve, and then you eke out the way you've been eking everything else out.
Yeah.
Though I'm a little annoyed with myself, because when I first saw the line and the over under, I took Chiefs and the over right away, and so I guess I got to stick with that pick. But the under's looking pretty good.
What's the over under at right now?
I got it at like 47.5. Let me check right now.
Ooh, that's hilarious because my final score
Yeah, it's
prediction.
still 47.5.
My final score prediction is Chiefs 27, Niners 21. That's like spot. And
wow.
I haven't even. I swear to God, I have it written down and everything. I'm not just saying that. Like that's nuts. Because I was gonna ask you, let's give a score prediction, and I have it written down 27-21.
That's crazy, dude. That's nuts. That's nuts.
That's a close one. That's fucking tough. I mean, because there is a scenario though, in which they like blow past that. Both teams, like they can be as good as the Niners as good as the Chiefs defense has played, and not in the playoffs, but we've seen in the regular season from the Niners, when they have their shit together, they're a solid defense.
Yeah, I mean it's so funny that we're at this point in the season and we're gonna talk about two things or one thing, and it's about which one of these teams is gonna run the ball better.
I know.
Isn't that so funny?
It is.
Like we're in this generation of offense, but like whoever runs the ball better is going to be in a great position to win the game. I don't think either team's going to be able to stop the other team from running.
Well, the Niners certainly aren't. They couldn't stop David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. They got the fumble, obviously, but like they were getting chunk plays on handoffs.
100%. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're Baltimore and you only run the ball 6 times, like it makes it a little easier for the Chiefs.
That's true.
Idiots.
That's true too.
Unbelievable. But I don't think the Niners will do that. I think Kyle is going to find many ways to run the ball between Debo and CMC, and he's going to get the ball in his playmakers' hands. And it's going to be the Pacheco. And I think, Mahomes is okay. I know we just talked about him. But this guy's kind of got that MJ mindset. You know, when they took the photo or they took the video of him with the shirt off in the locker room?
Yeah.
Like, part of me is like thinking, this motherfucker took that as a slight. Like, he made a joke about it, but he's like, wait till you guys see me. Like, I bet we see Mahomes run for like 40 yards this game. Like,
he might.
Like, he's going to get like that absolutely like fucking, like I just got sniped in my Achilles tendon fucking run where the coverage is amazing and he is just fucking making shit happen, and then all of a sudden he takes off for like 24 yards and like, I could just like that back-breaking run that he does.
A 3rd and 13 type of thing.
Just know what's going to happen, and then I could just see him flex in, and then his dumb family is going to get panned over too, and then like they're going to be losing their mind. It's like he feeds off this shit, man. I just but like you just get that sense, like, and they're underdogs again, like underdogs going to open again. Like, what's the line at now? The line's at 2.5. I was
gonna say, dude. I saw it 2.5. I don't know if it changed at all.
It's crazy. It opened at 1.5, so it's actually gone one more point.
Wow,
like that's crazy. Now, I mean, like it's plus 110 to take the Chiefs. See, and that okay. Can we just get into the betting stuff?
Yeah, no, let's dive in. Let's go.
Okay. This is out to Vegas. The boys in the people in Vegas, the men and women in Vegas, and people in Vegas that are. What are you doing to me? Plus 110? You're begging me to take the Chiefs. You're fucking begging me. Why are you doing this? Everybody, like, I would guarantee 70% of the bets made on who to win this game, 70% is going on the Chiefs. And even with that, the line's moving the point in the other direction, and it's still plus 110 to take the Chiefs. What do they know that we don't know?
They've got to know something.
It can't possibly be this easy. This is Vegas.
I know.
Why would they do this to us? This is crazy, man.
I would still, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I would still take the Chiefs. I don't see how you can't.
I took them.
Yeah.
Them. Like, yeah. And then, so that I'm gonna lose that bet. I just feel like, why would it stay like that for 2 weeks? You know, it feels snaky, man. I feel like some piece of shit is behind all this to fucking take all our money.
Yeah,
It's
the other shoe's
ridiculous.
gonna drop one way or the other. Something's gonna happen.
Something's gonna happen. We're gonna find out like 2-3 O linemen are out, and it's like the Buck Super Bowl all over again or some
That
shit.
was, by the way, not to get off on a tangent here. That was I'm not coming from it. People, oh, the fucking participation trophy. I don't think I've ever seen a more brilliant performance from a quarterback. The fucking throws that he was pulling off and just hitting people in the face mask. That one throw where he was like literally parallel to the fucking ground and threw like a weird 3/4 sidearm type of thing. And I forgot who he hit right in the hands and he just dropped. I don't know if it was Reek or who. I mean, it was insane, some of the throws that he was pulling off with that type of pressure in his face.
100%. Yeah, that was very LeBron against the KD Warriors-esque. Where like
he's like
I thought
averaging 45.
like this is the best game I've ever seen, and it's like and this team like lost something because J.R. Smith doesn't know what the score is or how much time's left. But yeah, it felt very like this guy is on another planet. Like,
yeah, that's a good comparison.
Don't even talk about anyone else. Okay, let's talk Vegas props. Player props. Mahomes rushing yards 25.5. I feel like you got to take the over. There's going to be if Chase Young is on the field, I would bet that Mahomes is going to take off on that play right there.
What are the betting odds that he's a healthy scratch for this game?
I mean, wow, talk about someone who's just so physically imposing but so non-affecting of the game. Jesus Christ,
is
dude.
He the NFL's DeAndre Ayton?
He might be. He really might be. Like, he's just trying to get his, you know, he kind of feels more like a Hassan Whiteside.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one, too,
like,
yeah.
You know?
Because he had the one good year. Like, Chase Young's rookie year was phenomenal. And then it's just been ever since.
It's been injury-riddled and, you know, and maybe he makes a comeback. Like, Clowney has, like, bounced back from multiple injuries. And, yeah, I think he had, like, 9 sacks this year. Like, it could happen. It's not happening right now, and if he's on the field, I wouldn't be shocked if he breaks contain and Mahomes does one of those back-breaking runs. Brock Purdy's rush yards is 12.5. That's the over/under on FanDuel for Brock Purdy rushing yards, 12.5. Feels like he's going to do that in the first quarter.
I know,
just being honest.
And that's one scramble.
I mean, I know Chris Jones is like. I feel like the Chris Jones factor and like clogging up the middle is going to be a thing because he doesn't really. It's not like he rushes to the outside. It's usually when there's like a gap opening up the middle and where he takes off. Maybe they're considering that, but that feels too easy. Travis Kelce receptions 6.5. I take the over there. Receiving yards 71.5. I feel like you got to take the over on that too.
Listen,
I know that's going to be the game plan, but it just like, who else is he going to throw to, Frank?
That's
Rashee Rice. Like, he's not built for this yet. He might be. I don't see it yet.
I have this sneaky suspicion that's maybe not Rashee Rice because we know who he is. He's played well this year. It's going to be some just weird. It's going to be like fucking Justin Watson with like 2 long touchdowns or something dumb is going to happen because it's just the Chiefs. That's who they are. The Chiefs are the Patriots now, and someone just going to step up that you've never heard of and do the fucking thing.
Who's the backup tight end?
Noah Gray.
Noah Gray. Yeah, like he's catching a touchdown. Yeah. I'm not betting on it, but he's catching a touchdown.
But I'm going the under. I'm going the under on both, and it's not necessarily because I think the game plan will be instituted by the Niners. I think what you talked about, the dinging, dunking, and running, I think they're going to run the ball a fuck ton. I think you're going to see Isaiah Pacheco. I mean, what is the over-under on his touches? I think he's going to get at least 15 handoffs.
Okay. Over the season, I don't have attempts in front of me. Rush yards is set at 67.5. I think that's going to go over. If the that's interesting that rush attempts are not on here because his rush attempts was like around 14 during the season, but it's jumped to like 21 in the playoffs.
That's what I mean.
And it's like, like that guy's hitting the over.
100%. My offseason project, by the way, speaking of Isaiah Pacheco, is just calculating how many more yards per carry he would have if he knew how to run correctly. It's a project that I'm very excited to work on in an episode in which I'm going to present to the world if he just gets a running coach.
Um, I love the way he runs. I love that you kind of shit on him, but you kind of
It's
respect it at the same
oh
time.
no.
Like,
It's not. It's just it's so cartoonish. It makes me laugh. It's not one.
it is hilarious.
Sometimes there are things that annoy me. That does not. It's so funny to me.
It kind of reminds me of. It kind of reminds me of when like AP would break away. It's kind of got that feel, but honestly, when AP did it, it looked like he was going much faster.
That's yes. Like Isaiah is like, it's not that he's slow. It's just his legs are like, I think it's because he's shorter. Like AP had longer strides to it, and he was running hard for sure. But Isaiah Pacheco is just like, his little legs are like just hitting the ground so fucking quick, and he's just like stomping the ground like it murdered his family. Like he just murders the ground and it's even like on 2-yard runs. That's the funny thing is like, he just it's I've never seen a running motion that way. It's hysterical to me. I love it.
Yeah, like how when a dog takes a shit, they like bury it in dirt when they're like walking away. Like that's how he runs, how Pacheco runs.
Yeah, that's a good I still it's so funny that they asked him like, have you seen any of the tweets? And that was one of the tweets that I saw when he said he looks like he runs like he bites people. And there's whole threads every single time that just like it looks like he runs like this, or it's so funny, man.
Oh my God. So good. Okay. Debo rushing over under is 16.5. I think that's, if he doesn't get hurt, I think that's an easy over. I just feel like they are going to try to take possessions away and run the ball.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, man, Kansas City can cover. The person who I think receptions total is going to go over is Kittle. He just had one of those like, okay, I'm blocking all game. Not a lot schemed up for him last game. And I think sometimes I feel like Kyle is so sadistic. He does this shit in advance. Like took Kittle out of the throwing game plan, and it's going to come back, and the reason I like the over, it's only at 3.5. I think he's going to have a couple of those. No one's open downfield because they're covering so well, and then he releases from a block.
Right, like a little flat route.
Yeah, I think the over for his receptions is definitely going to hit. I think Ayuk receiving yards is at 63.5. I'm going to take the under on that.
I'm going under there too. Yeah. What was Kittle's receptions? What was his over under?
Kittle's receptions was 3.5.
Oh, over for sure.
4 catches. Like he just had a game where he had 2, but he literally not one play was drawn up for him.
Yep.
Except for one up the left sideline.
But I think what plays into that is I could see 4 or 5 receptions just like you described because just of the exotic blitzes that Spags is going to throw their way. Because you think about like Kittle's one of those high IQ dudes too, like Kelsey, hard worker, gym rat, high IQ. I let him marry my daughter. That like I would assume as soon as he sees a safety blitz, a corner blitz, he's going right to the play. He's going right to that empty space.
Mm-hmm.
He just has
100%.
like he has it. Like guys like Isaiah Likely just don't have it. You know what I mean?
100%.
It's Nas. It's Black History Month. You're supposed to push back on me.
Oh yeah, I was not listening to you. I was looking at I was looking at Christian McCaffrey's absurd
You're lining up some
91.5 yard prop.
I'm just fucking spewing racial undertones as a joke. You're like, oh yeah, yup. For everyone listening, it was a joke. I love Isaiah Likely.
I love Isaiah Likely too, actually, and I think Mark Andrews will not be a Raven because of him.
See, we need in the offseason, we're gonna have a hot takes episode, maybe more than one.
Here's a little sneak peek of that. How would you feel about Mark Andrews being a Bear?
Oh, I'd love it more than Brock Bowers being a Bear.
Wing. Who being a Bear?
Brock Bowers. I'd like it more than Brock Bowers being a Bear. I don't see it with him.
I'm not in, dude. Not in. Fuck that. I'm not in on that guy. If Brock Bowers is a Bear, I will lose. I will blow a fucking
dude.
gasket.
Like when you think of like the first round tight ends, like I like Noah Fant a few years ago. I like TJ Hawkinson. I don't know if I liked him as high as they were picked, but like he doesn't even. I think I've said this almost verbatim, but he doesn't jump off the page like those guys do.
Dude, Kittle, 5th round, Gronk, 3rd round. Like we don't need to do this shit. Like what are we doing?
Was it? I mean, Gesicki, who's been solid, he was a 2nd or 3rd too. Like I mean, you get guys in the 2nd or 3rd.
You get guys.
I mean, Adam Shaheen. Jesus, just all these Hall of Famers.
Baby Gronk. Yeah. The first Baby Gronk before any of those other fucking imposters. Christian McCaffrey over/unders 91.5. That feels like an under to me.
Rushing or total?
Rushing total. 91.
Under. I'm going under. I think his total yards will be over that, but rushing, yes, he'll be under.
Yards, I think his receiving yards is 33.5, and I think he could get that. He could get that in one grab, like 2 grabs.
Yes,
easy. Like I think the rushing yards are down, and I think receiving yards he makes it up there. What else we got here? Any other goodies? Okay, here's been one that has been interesting. Patrick Mahomes passing yards 262.5.
Under.
I think it's under. Because one, he's only eclipsed that total like 3 times in the last like 11 weeks.
Yep.
Some crazy shit like that. And I like. There's just not like outside of Kelsey. There's just not enough playmakers in the passing game. Like, like they're building up Rashee Rice, and maybe he ends up being good. Just based on watching him, I don't see him being a 1.
No, he's not an X.
He can't project to be a 1. So it's just like there's just not enough here. I don't think.
I also think it's just gonna be one of those game script things, though. I'm right there with you, where it's gonna be a lot of dink dunk, just a lot of the paper cuts to try to really control the clock. Because realistically, Kansas City doesn't have the pieces to be as explosive as the Niners do. So if you give the Niners less opportunities, and again, this isn't like a Purdy thing for them, but it's like, just like you said, I mean, one quick screen to McCaffrey can go for 90. Who else? Who's doing that on the Chiefs? Nobody.
Right.
Like your only big play guy is MVS, who's has a 50-50 chance of dropping the goddamn ball.
Yeah, MVS, dude, what a career that guy's had. Like
he's our generation's Ted Ginn. Well, this generation's Ted Ginn.
Yeah. That's a great comp. Unbelievable. Will Jake Mooney miss a field goal? I'm absolutely going to bet yes on that one. It's plus 210 that he'll miss a field goal. That guy's brain it's fucking scrambled eggs in there.
Yeah, wow.
He's going to, no. There will be some mismanagement at the end of the half because Kyle will have used the timeout in the first quarter for some dumb fucking reason. And they'll have to take like a 52-yarder to end the first half, and he's going to miss that 52-yarder.
I don't know,
promise
dude. You. I almost want to say no, he won't, because I don't know if they're even going to let him kick a field goal.
I think if there's like a very little downside to a miss, they will let him attempt one. Like
right,
at
just
the
like
end
the
of the
scenario
half,
you described. Right. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. What else? Any other goodies?
Do they have? Does that sports book have like the national anthem length and any of the silly ones? Heads or tails?
Specials. Coin toss. Let's see here. I am looking. Game props. I don't see it offhand, but
there was maybe it's a certain sports book that does it, but there was one year where I didn't know it existed, and Twitter was going fucking crazy because whoever sung it so fucking fast that it like broke the record for how under it was on the over/under. I don't remember who it was though.
I did hear that the Reba singing the national anthem. I heard it was like 86 seconds. I know Reba. All respect, she's a queen. Love Reba. Wife watched Reba growing up. Love Reba. Big Reba fans in this house. I know she's getting up there.
Yeah.
And she might try to get through this quick, but 86 seconds is tight.
Yeah, that is.
Very tight.
86 seconds 26.
Is. Man, like, have you like looked at the lyrics of National Anthem? You can't read that bitch in less than 60 seconds.
I know.
So I don't see it.
But I almost even flipped the logic on its head though. She's old. She may have to take a breather. You know what I mean? Like in between, so the breaths are a little bit longer.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I'm pretty sure it's at around 86, and once I find it, I'm taking the over on that fucker.
Yeah. And then speaking of these fucking prompts now, as I saw someone put like $100,000 on the coin toss. I don't know if they picked
That's
heads or
crazy.
tails. That is nuts.
That's crazy. That's nuts.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way I would. That's my heart would be fucking thumping.
Yeah, no. Super Bowl now. Okay. Yeah, we will review. You know, if any of these get like crazy, maybe we'll even review. Like, hey, you thought you hit you thought hitting the over on 86 seconds, hitting the over on that was smart. Like, it was actually 85 seconds. She managed to do it. Like,
Yeah.
if anything cool like that happened, 86 seconds. Like, oh my god.
I know, that's nuts. Wait, but that could be some TikToks for next week of like the bets and how they went, and how Vegas fucking did it again.
I mean, if the Niners win this game, that's just crazy. That's just crazy.
There's another portion that we didn't focus on that I can't seem to shake. I know Kyle has gotten away, like he finally rid himself of the curse of being down by 10 at half, whatever it was, 2 scores at half. He's got 2 wins in that fashion now, or in the fourth quarter, whatever the fuck. But he also was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons, 28-3. He also fucking blew a lead to the same, not the same construction, but the same Chiefs team in the fourth quarter. That was a 2-score game. He has
20-10, yeah.
Yeah, 20-10. He has this thing, and you've always chalked it up like, you know, he's being a little cute. He's being a little too cute. And Nas, I can't shake that if it comes to that again. I know Andy Reid has the tendency to get a little cute as well, but his too cutes are like in times where if it does go wrong, whatever, we can make up for it. You know what I mean? It's Kyle seems to have these moments or these things, these clock management issues at the most costly times.
Yeah, it's funny because it's just like I find him to be like so creative, and then in those moments, like he gets so conservative.
I know. It's
a little weird. And
but McVay does that too. There's a weird thing where I think these ultra offensive guys start to tuck their tails a little bit. Like they outthink themselves, I think.
A little bit, yeah, I think so. And it's just like, yeah, they like psych themselves out.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, if this will actually be the counter to this, and
that's what I mean.
Like, they won't be expecting this.
Because to your
dude, do what got you here.
Yeah, but it's like to your point though with the Kittle thing, where it's like I don't disagree with you saying like he may be doing that thinking 10 steps ahead. Where if we win this game, they're gonna fucking think I'm doing the same thing, and I have counters to that, and like they get so in their brain about it. I mean, it truly makes me appreciate that we're building this thing with a guy who's going to draw up a 4th and 1 to Cole Kmet for a tight end sneak. Like, that's what you want in those moments, not this overthinking horse shit.
Raiders,
man.
You're so lucky, Raiders. Oh my god.
Okay, so next week, I feel like we'll debrief the Super Bowl, obviously. We have to talk about those Antonio Pierce comments about Luke Getsy.
100%. Dude,
is spoiler for anyone. It is not good. Raiders fan. I feel bad because I loved them keeping him on, and he's one of the few interim guys who actually got external interviews. Like people think he's going to be a good coach, and I think he did do well last year. That's not endearing. That wouldn't give me confidence that we hired the right guy. If I was Raiders fans, that was.
I'm nervous for old Antonio Pierce.
I know, and granted, like maybe it was said in jest. We only read it. I didn't see the clips. Maybe he's joking.
Right?
But,
yeah, it could be taken out of context.
Right. I hope so because
different ways.
if that was legitimately his logic in hiring Luke Getsy, Jesus fucking Christ, that's horrible.
Nah, yeah, it was probably clickbait designed for Bears fans, but like, no way he fucking said that.
Maybe we'll see, but I think that's a fucking awful. Devontae Adams is gonna ask out. There's no way he doesn't want out.
I don't know, man. Like there are Getsy Devontae ties, so it's like.
Oh, that's true. I mean, he wasn't calling plays, but you're right. They're familiar with each other.
Yeah. You know,
and I guess he got DJ Moore 1,300. What did he have? 1,300, 1,340. So.
I mean, DJ Moore just had a career.
That's what I'm saying. So maybe I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. And the one thing I'll say, and again, we're gonna have a whole episode probably next week, but. It's not to say that I would ever have entertained the Bears keeping him. He needed to be fired. He was gone. He was awful, regardless of what you think of Justin. But I am also okay with guys getting second chances. I don't want to live in an NFL world where, someone doesn't. I mean, because look at what if Bill B? They were like, nah, we saw what you did with Cleveland. Get the fuck out of here, buddy. You miss out on the greatest coach of all time.
Oh yeah, you got to give coaches an opportunity to get better and to acknowledge like where they could improve.
Which I know. Which is why I love the Raheem Morris signing. I didn't realize, dude, that he was like 32 years old, his first coaching. He was my age.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, dude.
I didn't know he was that young.
Yeah, and like he's learned, like he's been in a lot of locker rooms,
dude.
Since.
On the offensive side, on the defensive side, I mean, he's been doing fucking everything.
Teams, like everyone who's ever worked with him praises the shit out of him.
I know. Listen, you talk about if that dude has an inkling of a right wing, political stance, Fox News will eat that shit up because he pulled himself up by the bootstraps, baby. He said you're gonna fire me for head coach. I'm gonna be the fucking. I'm gonna start back up and I'm gonna be the quality control manager. I'm gonna be an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, a D-line coach, a tight end coach. I'm gonna do it all until I get my shit back.
I'm rooting for Ra.
I'm too
excited for him.
Yeah, but next week's episode will be really good. Nas, anything else Super Bowl related? I feel like we weren't gonna come in with too much because. Again, it's just so hard. Like, if this was a different game, this is a different team, but Pat is Pat, man. He's already, we talked about it. Go check out our TikToks, y'all. We talked about it. Pat is just, he's ascended today's era. So until someone proves to be a kryptonite, I'm not betting against the guy.
The thing about Pat is it's like, the talent, whatever, the mindset that he's just willing to do whatever needs to be done.
Yep.
That second half of the Ravens game did just enough. Just enough. Like, wasn't the same old guy that we're used to. Did just enough. And when it was time to make a fucking play to seal it, he did it. Like, just that willingness and ability to do that tells me all I need to know.
I know.
And I ain't betting against that guy until someone fucking takes him down.
And that's the thing, and this is my last thing, Nas, is that's last Super Bowl is what made me say they are this era's Patriots, because that's the level that Tom got to. It didn't always look pretty. He didn't always throw for 280 yards, 350 yards, even though he had against the one that he lost against the Eagles. He threw for like fucking 550. He went off. Right. So it was always in there. But the point that I'm making is, to your point, he's making the right plays every single fucking time. He's not. You are in graduates program and beyond that. You're like a doctorate at that point when you can say the game doesn't need me to be a superhero. I need to make the timely plays and take care of the ball. When you have that portion mastered, but then also coupled it with what he can do with his ceiling, you're Teflon. There's not many, like, it sounds easy, but again, like, this dude's past Peyton Manning on the playoff wins list. He's gonna, if he wins this Super Bowl, he's already passed him in rings in way less time. This dude is a master in a way, like, I don't mean to sound disrespectful towards Peyton, but in a way that I don't think Peyton ever mastered it.
100%.
I think only Tom and Joe, and maybe Steve Young, but like, it's a short list of guys who were at that level.
How many playoff games has this guy fucking lost? 2?
Yeah, like 2 or 3. 2 or 3. Yeah, it hasn't been many.
He's been a quarterback for 6 years.
Yeah,
like,
it was the first year to Brady, Patriots. He lost the Super Bowl to Brady. Brady's the fucking GOAT, dude. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, so he's lost 3. He's got 3 losses. He lost to Joe and lost to Brady twice. That's crazy.
But who did Joe? Oh yeah, Joe Burrow. Yes, correct. No, yeah, that's it. I know, that's it.
That's insane. That's insane.
Absolutely absurd. Yeah. Well, Nas, this was a good one. I had fun. So next week, barring any Bears news, I don't know how Bears related it'll be. Well, Luke Getsy will be discussed, so we'll talk there. But yeah, I think it's mainly going to be some Super Bowl takeaways. And then really the whole coaching cycle, because I don't think I've ever seen a more unique, for the lack of a better word, hiring cycle.
Super weird, man.
Super weird. So we'll discuss it. I'll be prepared for it. I'll have some notes. I'll have some things that we're excited about, things that we're a little confused about still. And we'll go from there. Nas, thanks for joining me. Everyone, thanks for listening. Remember to like, share, subscribe. We are everywhere that podcasts can be heard. We're also on YouTube if you want to see our beautiful faces. And we'll catch y'all next week. Later, Nas. Later, everybody.
Yeah. Bye.